Hello, this is wmpyr. Today I want to talk about a comment that I got not too long ago, and it was about double knife in the reverse grip. So I made a YouTube video showing some techniques there, and the person asked me, um, you know, pretty much along the lines of, um, how is this practical? That was kind of their question. How am I supposed to use this in real life, kind of thing? And yeah, you know, first of all, I think it's important to question everything. I think that's a good thing, all right? But the second thing is very, very important how you question and when you question, because um, you can become very disrespectful if you're not careful with this kind of question. And you could also become someone that it becomes very reliant on immediate answers. So it's kind of like you're used to being handed stuff on a silver platter. There's some people that almost like they demand answers, and that's not how martial arts works. And in fact, a lot of things in life don't work that way. You could demand and throw a fit and whatever, and sometimes people they're not going to care, and it's like you can't figure it out. What's wrong with you, kind of thing, and they just leave you to rot. So you don't want to be like that. You want to be able to stand on your own 2 feet and figure out things on your own. And even if it might be the wrong answer, you jerry rig it and you make it work. That kind of attitude is way more important than someone who's demanding answers, you know. So it like I said, it's good to ask questions. That's a good thing. But how you do it is very, very important, because if you do it the wrong way, you kind of end up with a bad personality, and you don't want to have that. You don't want to have a bad personality. Part of martial arts to me is martial arts done right is should be an improvement of your character as a human being as well. So it should make you more humble. It should make you, more polite and respectful, and those kinds of things as well. So it is important, And I could tell you from my own experience. I remember when I was taking an Aikido class a long time ago, the instructor showed something, and then you partner up, and my partner and I were practicing the move just like everybody else in class was, and I started countering the move because I could, and I saw holes in the technique, so I started doing that. And I was like, yeah, it doesn't work. And then so the instructor was called to that, and you know, I started questioning the instructor. Why are you doing it that way? Because that could be countered with that, and that doesn't make sense, or whatever. And when I look back on that now, I was very immature and I was very disrespectful. I deserved a whooping. The instructor was nice enough not to do it. I think he was nice enough. He could have been scared. I don't know, because I came in as kind of a guest, which makes it even worse. I'm a guest here, allowed to train, to work out for free, and here I am causing some trouble. So I feel really bad about that. When I look back. So yeah, don't be that guy. In the class, you do as the teacher says, unless it's something messed up. But if they're teaching a technique and they want you to practice it, you practice it. And then when you go home, you could decide to not practice the technique, take it out of your toolbox. You don't have to use it. You do what you want at home. Outside the class, do what you want. Okay, but in the class, do as the teacher says. And I adopted that philosophy. And then so because I started going to a bunch of different schools, it worked so much better. And yeah, I wasn't causing problems in class, and oh, there's a hole, oh, what's going on. I wasn't that jerk, where I can't keep my mouth shut, and I had to be you know someone who was kind of like a know-it-all, or had an attitude problem like that. So yeah, it definitely changing my attitude really, keep your mouth shut. This is their dojo. Be respectful. You're a visitor, or you're a student there. You're here to study what they want to show you. So you do that. Unless they say, for today, we're going to work on what you want to work on. What do you guys have any requests? Then sure. Okay. But if not, you do as told, And if you don't like it, go to another school. It's that simple, right? And then you try to figure it out on your own. And if you can't, then you go up to the instructor and once again, politely in private, ask. Okay. So that's the way to do it. Now, the other thing I want to say here is Sensei Rick and I have been talking about this, and we've been trying to figure out a good way to explain this, but, certain techniques and certain skill sets, it requires steps. So it's not like immediate. So maybe it takes 5 techniques to get to one technique that works. Okay. So you're doing these 5 techniques total, and only the last one can you use for self-defense. The other 4 is like they took you to that 5th technique. That was their job. All those other 4 techniques that you practiced, their job was to take you to the 5th. So those alone, they can't be used. But without those 4, you wouldn't get to the 5th. A lot of martial arts systems are designed that way. And I know a lot of people want to just immediately practice the 5th technique, the one that works. It's like, let's just do that one. And it doesn't work that way, because if you do that, if you immediately try to go to the 5th one, the quality is probably going to be bad, really, really bad. The reps aren't there. Your understanding's not there. Your experience, you need the other 4 kind of thing, if that makes sense. So this is kind of like, it's like a journey, right? You go through a journey. And if you think of like Greek mythologies or something, Sensei Rick goes into these crazy, like, ancient culture stories, which is awesome. I wish he'd make videos on it and share it with you guys. But, imagine like Greek mythology, and in order, for the hero to slay the dragon or slay Medusa or the Minotaur or whatever, he had to kind of do these other things first. Because if he immediately tried to do that, he would totally fail. So he had to go in there, and maybe it was something just like something in the mind had to change. It didn't have to, the magical artifact or the special weapon, the side quest where he had to go get that stuff. Maybe those are metaphors. Okay. So something in the mind had to click. And this great movie called Hammer of the Gods. That's a great movie. I think that's the title. This dude, he's pretty much a prince. His dad is dying. He's the king. The dad is the king. He's dying. And so the prince is going to take over, and pretty much everybody there knows it, and they're in the middle of battle or something. And, the prince is like, hey, Dad, what am I supposed to do? And the dad's like, number 1, you ain't ready to become king. He's like, you don't have it. So what I want you to do is your older brother. And it's like, whoa, the older brother, the guy that got vanished? Yeah, he's like, go find him. And that guy can take over the kingdom. You're not capable. So bring back your older brother. That's the quest. I need you to do that. That's my last dying wish. So he goes, and basically, I'm going to ruin it for you guys. So, spoiler alert. So the dad knew, the king, he knew that the older brother is a psychopath, essentially. So the younger brother going to go get the older brother, the younger brother's like, the prince is trying to get the older brother, saying, hey, the kingdom is in peril. You need to take over and help us in the battlefield and everything, because without that, our army's going to collapse and our kingdom ain't going to last. So we need you to come back and take over. So that's in his mind. The prince is thinking that. The brother don't care. He's crazy. He's insane. So by the prince killing the older brother, he comes back as a man. And that was the whole point that the dad, the king, he wanted. He knew that that was going to happen, and he wanted his son to understand, you know, he wanted his son to go through that kind of experience and go, now you're ready. So there are some stuff like this that may seem like not what it is, where you do it and you go, what the hell is this for? But it is part of that quest, that journey. And I don't want to sound mystical or anything like that. I want to cut the BS out for you guys. But that skill right here with double reverse in a real life self-defense situation, am I going to use this? I could if I have this, if I have 2 knives available, but honestly, in a real life self-defense situation, I'm lucky to have 1 knife. And I don't want to be that dude walking around normally, he's carrying 16 knives or something like that. That's not me. I don't want to be that guy. And mentally, especially mentally and spiritually, I don't want to be that guy, So in a real life situation, I'm going to have minimal stuff probably, unless, I'm able to predict and I'm going, I got to go to the wrong side of town for some reason, maybe go help out a friend or whatever, but I'm normally not there. And so in this case, I'm going to upgrade my EDC. But unless it's something like that, I'm going to have minimal stuff. And if something happens, then I'm going to have to work with what I got. And the skills that I developed from this will be there for me. And that's what's important, not the literal. People take it so literal sometimes, and I want you guys to understand that's not true. Because if it were true, kickboxers in a real fight would be doing push-ups in the ring. Boxers would be doing sit-ups and crunches. Of course that doesn't happen. You don't have to be so scared of being literal. There's that saying that I think messed up almost everybody on the planet, where they said, you fight the way you train. And so many people took that so literally. And it's like, well, if you're that dumb, then yeah, okay. Then maybe you need to train like a real fight. But if you're smarter than that, you don't have to do that. I don't have to get into a street fight every week. I don't need to do that. That's actually really dumb. So I'm smarter than that, way smarter than that. You are too. So simulation is the way to go. Okay. You don't have to take things so literal, because if you go by literal, then yeah, this doesn't make any sense. And same thing with most martial arts training won't even make sense either, because those are all simulations. All right. Then the most realistic training would be like the closest thing to a street situation, or, asking some guys, some scary looking guys, hey, can you guys, I'll pay you this much. Can you please kidnap me? And I'm going to try to get out. I'm going to try to escape. You guys do everything you can to prevent me, including violence, any kind of violent stuff, but I will try to get out. Okay. It would be like that. You're basically doing the real thing. And it's like, that's not smart at all. But if you're that literal, then maybe you got to do it that way. But, so I'm just saying, don't be literal. Okay. So anyway, that's it for now. Thank you for viewing, and take care, folks.